Hello, Inspired Keys audience members. It is Sandra and it's 10:20 p.m. and I was actually going to go to bed, and honestly, I'm kind of like ready to sleep. But I was just clearing some of my emails, and then I came across this awesome YouTube comment from a YouTube watch audience member called Darlene. And I was going to reply her, but then I felt like I know that what she's going through is what a lot of us go through. So I might as well just reply in this YouTube live video that I'm just jumping on. And as you can see from the title, it is about why you should audition for your worship team, even if you feel scared. So first up, I'm just going to read Darlene's message. So she says, "Hi, Sandra. Thank you so much for your YouTube videos. I've been playing piano for 2 years now, and I'm probably still behind as I don't play as often as I should be. I really want to try to serve on my worship team at Hillsong Church, but all the musicians are super skilled, and I feel that I lack a lot of skill. How would I be able to overcome this, or would it be best to practice on until I'm happy with my own piano skills and then audition? Bracket. I also fear the auditions. Eek." Close bracket. And that's the end of the message. So Darlene, I just want to thank you so much for this. But I also think that what Darlene's going through is so not alone. And if you are watching this live, and if you can resonate with what Darlene is saying about how it's very frightening, right, to go for auditions, and then you come from you happen to go to a church where there are some amazing musicians, and you're like, you don't feel good enough. Okay, so here's my response to it. Darlene says she has been playing piano for 2 years, and she's probably still behind because she doesn't play as often as she should be. So what is the best way to start serving often, to start playing often? It is to serve, right? So it's a little bit like a chicken and egg thing, but if you don't serve, you're probably never going to have the real push to practice. I mean, you could say, I will practice on my own until I'm good enough and then I'll serve. But really, there's nothing like knowing you have worship rehearsal on Thursday night and it's Monday and you're like, I need to practice, right? If you don't have worship rehearsal on Thursday and it's Monday, you probably won't feel the push because you're like, nah, I have nothing that I really need to work towards. So I'll tell you very honestly, so many times I don't even bother practicing until and unless I have to, because then, your brain starts thinking, okay, if I show up at rehearsal and I don't know my stuff, what are people going to say? I'm going to pull the whole team down. It's going to be terrible, and I won't be doing my best, and then I'm going to mess up. And so that there is the pressure from committing to a social group, right? And then you're going to show up and you want to do your best, not just because you want to save face, but also you want to do your best for God. You want to do your best for your church. You want to be a blessing to the community from the music that you play, and you want to be professional. You want to show up at rehearsal, well practiced, right? So serve. The best way to improve, guys, is to say yes to your worship team. Okay, try and do the auditions first. So you don't think you're good enough, but you actually don't know. What if you're actually okay? Or what if you are not as skillful as the super skilled musicians who probably are skilled because they've served for many years and they keep improving because they have been serving? Now, if you don't serve, then you will never get better at a fast rate. You might be very self-disciplined and practice on your own, but then when you actually are on the job, on the job training, OJT, something that I picked up when I was a teacher in a school, right? And then my head of department tells me, Sandra, this is OJT, go do this project. And I'm like, I have no idea how to do this project, but I just got to do it. And then you just learn so much by doing it. And in the same way, when you are a worship keyboardist and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but now you find yourself on the keys, on stage, service just started, you're freaking out, but you're just going along, and then you learn and you reflect and you grow and you do it again and you do it again and you do it again. I mean, just imagine if you said yes, Darlene, if you said yes and you got into the worship team July 2018, where will you be in July 2019? If you served in the worship team now, than if you didn't serve in the worship team at all. I mean, just imagine it, very big difference. So from July 2018 to 2019, compare situation A, where you just practice at home all the time, or situation B, you said yes, you were brave, and you just stuck with it. You freaked out at auditions, but you served in the team, and you serve and you serve, and so you keep saying yes, and you practice and you learn from being a worship keyboardist. It's going to make a huge difference, guys. So if you're watching this and you're like freaking out about auditions, please don't. Now, of course, you got to do your due diligence and prepare, right? So I don't know about you guys, but for some of the auditions I've been to, I know sometimes they go like, prepare a slow and a fast song. So maybe I prepare any choice of my slow and fast song. Some churches go like, you got to prepare this slow song and this fast song. Then, practice, right? Do your best and work on it and just give it your best shot. Okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing that can happen is maybe they say, nope, we don't think you're good enough for the job. Please try again next time, right? And if they say that, we can at least know, okay, great, I can practice and try again. And if you feel that this is God's calling on you, then God's going to fulfill that calling through you by gifting you. And of course, it's not like we are naturally born with the gift necessarily. Maybe you need to work at it. And how are you going to work on it? Well, if you are watching this video, you are trying to work on it. But there is this thing that is called the Inspired Keys Academy, which is something that you can join to get better in your worship keys skills. So the Inspired Keys Academy is a membership site, and I have put in there all my course videos on training on a huge variety of important topics on how to play worship keys better. And every single thing is geared towards helping you to become a skillful and confident worship musician, worship keyboardist. So even if you are a pure beginner right now, even if you are another musician, maybe you are a drummer, a bassist, and you want to learn how to play worship keys. Maybe you are a pianist. Maybe you are a trained classical pianist. Maybe you are playing for a while now, but you feel like, hey, you really want to get good for auditions. Well, whatever kind of context you're in, if you join the Inspired Keys Academy, there are just so many topics. You can just jump on them and watch those topics and get better at them instantly. Now, the thing about the Inspired Keys Academy that's left alone, you can ask questions, and I answer Inspired Keys Academy members' questions with priority. So that's like different. And for the month of July, I'm doing 2 live Q&As where I'm gathering questions and answering all of them at one go. And also, we give feedback to each other when people share their recordings of them playing. So if you feel like, I don't think I'm good enough, well, Darlene, join the Academy, share a recording of your playing, post it on our Inspired Keys Academy Facebook group, and I'll be going in there to give you specific pointers on what you can do to improve, to grow as a worship keyboardist. And voila, that's the way to get better, right? So we can sort of sit there and go, I'm going to grow my talent by burying it under the soil, or we can go like, I'm going out there and I'm going to grow my talents, right? I'm borrowing this from the parable from Jesus. So yeah, I basically feel like I need to jump on this YouTube video and really just inspire everybody out there who's kind of being held back about auditions and you're frightened and you don't feel like you're good enough. Give it a try, guys. The best way to improve is to say yes to your worship team. Really, there is no other way to improve, okay? It's like, I want to learn how to improve how to cook, but then you're just sitting around watching recipe videos all day. You're not going to get better at cooking. You need to lift up that knife and chop up those onions and garlic and peel off the skin and throw it into the frying pan and give it a shot at frying. And then even if you cook up a terrible dish, you can look back and go like, gee, I need to get better at knife skills, or, you start thinking about how to improve. And that's the way to improve. You got to take action, guys. You can't just go, "Ah, I'm just going to watch YouTube videos and learn." And yes, there is a place for that, but you got to do. You got to learn and you got to do. So don't sit around passively and feeling pessimistic, guys. Say yes, give it a shot. There is the worst thing that can happen is not the end of the world. And if it's God's calling in you, and if you try again, I'm very sure you're going to get in. And getting in is just the first part, right? Getting in doesn't mean you'll never crash in the worship rehearsal or in a real service. You know, there all of us will have disaster stories. Just go into the Inspired Keys Academy, and then if you go look through all the member discussions, we recently had a discussion about how there was just this disaster that happened in her worship team, and it was just awful. People were playing different things, and the song just broke apart. And then so many different other people jumped in the comments and shared different disaster stories. I had like 2 or 3 disaster stories that I shared from my experiences. So you see, that's all part and parcel of the learning process. It's not like when you serve God, God makes everything perfect for you. No, there are all kinds of disasters, but that is where we learn. If every time every worship set is perfect and awesome and there's nothing to learn from, then that's a pretty boring life. So that's really the cool and fun part about being a worship musician, right? Your live performances, but we're not just performers, right? We're not like practice a beautiful Mozart sonata, go out there, play it perfectly, and people clap for you. It is all about flowing with the Spirit. You sense God, and you're like, you don't just play whatever you've practiced. You come prepared, but then you're ready to flow. You're ready to do different things. You watch the keyboardist, you watch the worship leader, you watch the band leader, and then you flow. And that's exciting, guys. There's no better kind of musicianship that I've ever experienced. I mean, I've gone through the whole classical training thing, and I've given it a shot with jazz music and everything, but I feel like there's nothing more exciting than serving God and flowing with him, and being a blessing to the people who listen to your music. And Darlene, you may not realize how many people you can bless if you give it a shot at auditions. So don't shortchange yourself. Don't sabotage yourself. Give it a shot. And if you feel like you need help, the Inspired Keys Academy is here to help you. Guys, there is a super limited time, massive discount that I'm doing on the Inspired Keys Academy, usually $39 per month. It is now going at $9 a month. And for the usual price of $300 a year, it is now going for just $99 a year. And this discount ends on the 30th of June, which is just a couple of hours away. Just go to inspiredkeys.com/join and use the discount code FLASH, FLASH, at checkout, and you can get these discounts instantly. Go straight in, unlock all the videos, course videos based on topics. Go in, watch. There's homework if you want to participate in the homework. Get instant access to our membership group, our members only discussion, and record yourself play, share it on our Facebook group, and get feedback. So yeah, guys, I really hope that this is a blessing to you guys who are watching. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm now just looking through some of the chat. Joshua Goa says, I joined the worship team recently, and even though I'm not very good, I'm learning things a lot. It's the Spirit, Josh. I'm so proud of you. I started 1 month ago, and now I'm much better than then. Oh my gosh. Josh, this is like the best comment ever. Thank you so much for that. I hope you are really, whether you're watching this live right now or watching the replay, guys, this is the Spirit. Josh, thank you. He started a month ago, people. A month. That's 30 days. If he hadn't joined a month ago, where would he be? He would still be at status quo, right? So if this was okay, so I guess this is the chart, right? So if this is a month and he grows that much, and the second one, third, fourth, fifth. Can you imagine where we will be in a year, in 10 years, in 20 years? Really, this is so good. So thank you so much, Josh, for being such an encouragement and sharing that. Darlene, oh my gosh, Darlene, you're on. Wow, thanks so much. Yeah, Darlene, really, I think we all have been there. Like, I have freaked out on all kinds of things as well. I usually freak out on a lot of classical performances, really. I'm not a classical pianist. Like, even if I practice a lot, I will sweat so much, I'll like slip, and then all my black notes just slip onto the white keys, and it's just terrible, wrong notes. Yeah, mind blanks, and I just don't know what to do next. And yeah, I've done that. But here's the thing, guys. If you ever see people who are just never they don't have stage fright, this is the key, guys. They have been on stage so much, it starts to feel comfortable. Really, I really don't think there's anyone who's born not afraid of the stage. But when you're on the stage so much, like you've done it enough, like you really actually have to be on stage a lot. Okay, so it's not like the second time you won't be afraid. You might still. But when you do a lot of it, you just keep going on and you keep going on stage. You keep doing it. You keep doing it. Eventually, you're going to come to a time where you're like, yeah, okay, I'm on stage. I mean, you're not probably gonna like just end up being so flippant on stage, but you won't be afraid of it. So yeah, I think it's Malcolm Gladwell book called Outliers. Yep, awesome book. Basically, the takeaway for me was that when you do something for 10,000 hours, you attain a certain level of proficiency. Okay, now to attain that 10,000 hours, guys, you really got to start somewhere. If you haven't served in your worship team, start saying yes. And maybe God's going to take you through years. We're not talking 10, 20, 30 years, or maybe for the rest of your life. God's going to use you in such an amazing way as being a worship musician. So you can be such a blessing, and you can get that 10,000 hours accumulated over a season of time. But it all starts with saying yes. So don't freak out, guys. If you're watching this, please don't be afraid. And if you are, just comment below and let me know how I can help you in your worship keys playing. If there's anything that I could create, like a course or maybe even more inspirational YouTube live videos like this. But I really want to do what I can to encourage you to say yes. Don't stay where you are. If you really want to improve, say yes. Okay? You don't have to say yes to improve. You can practice in your room. But I'm telling you, if you practice in your room, that growth chart's probably going to be like that. Okay, if you if you don't practice in your room, but you say yes to the worship team, and then you start practicing 4 songs every 3 weeks for however often you get rotated in your worship team,